would start sharing my video game collection with you. I put up a poll on YouTube, and PS2 won out with the popular vote. So I thought we'd start with my PS2 games. First off, we have Katamari Damacy, the first in all of the Katamari games, with its very iconic cover. Katamari is one of my favorite video game series franchises. I actually played the PSP one first, before playing any of the others. Nothing beats Keita Takahashi's unique and whimsical character designs, artwork, and the basis for this game. The rolling, sticking, never stopping, ever swelling clump of stuff that makes a star out of everyone and everything. When the king of all cosmos accidentally destroys all the stars in the sky, he orders you, his pint-sized princely son, to put the twinkle back in the heavens above. How, you ask? By rolling everything and anything on Earth into clumps so he can replace what's missing. Pick up everything. Go from rolling along a tabletop to ravaging through city streets, picking up momentum and skyscrapers along the way. You're already on a roll. Roll over the competition. Here we have the disc with a cute, simple illustration of the prince. One thing I love about older games, especially from this era, is the instruction manuals. I love that they're designed to fit the game and are even full of artwork. Like these cute illustrations of the prince, teaching you how to maneuver your Katamari. A shot of the cousins. This section is so cute. Wisdom of the king. With the prince asking questions from the king of cosmos. So I think out of all the Katamari games, my favorite is actually We Love Katamari. It's the second in the Katamari series, and I think it's even more charming than the first. fulfilling requests of people, and you walk around and you talk to them, and some of them have ridiculous requests, but that means you have some fun themed levels that you didn't have in the first one. The quirky gameplay that captivated the world returns to roll up anything and everything that gets in your way. So cute. Here's the disc for this one. And here's the manual. I won't necessarily be showing all the manuals, but Katamaris are just too cute not to share, especially with their special artwork. Okay then, let's get rolling. I can't remember when Keita Takahashi stopped working on the Katamari games himself, but I'm quite sure that he worked at least on the first two, obviously. There's so many good cousins. I particularly love Miso, the one that has a little soup head, ramen head. His head is a bowl. And I love Kinoko, who just has a mushroom for a head. Sitting around and playing together after teaching you how to play. They made a Katamari port for the Switch of Katamari Damacy. I really hope they make one for We Love Katamari as well. Now for a classic, Persona 4 Shin Megami Tensei. What can I say? This game is so beloved, and honestly, one of the best RPGs I've ever played. It was the first Persona game I ever played, and it just got me hooked with its unique gameplay, the mix of this visual novel school life with a dungeon crawling RPG. Another incredibly stylish series that only continues to grow more beautiful. Persona 5 is very, very stylish and charming. Tune in, turn on, drop dead. A rumor is going around school that by looking at a TV screen at 12 a.m. on a rainy night, the face of your soulmate will be revealed. But is that all? A chain of murders appears to be connected to the rumor, and and you and your team of Persona users must brave the mysterious TV world before another schoolmate dies. Enhanced social links, team control, CD included. And here's Teddy. The manual isn't as detailed, but still has the yellow theme color of Persona 4, as well as its little visual flourish style with the colored lines and little flower emblems. I loved playing this game. I still haven't played P4 Golden, but I would love to see how it's been expanded upon. When I played, my favorite character was Kanji. I love the trope of a big tough character who's really just a softie inside. So next up, I have quite a few horror games, as I am a huge horror game fan. I think the PS2 had the best horror games. Something about the time period, the system, just really perfected horror games in my opinion. I love fixed perspective horror games, which is what most PS2 ones are. I think they give a very interesting claustrophobic feeling, since you can't move the camera around, and the vulnerability of sort of seeing your character and things come at them is very spooky. Here we have Silent Hill 2, probably considered the best Silent Hill game, and certainly one of my top favorites. I really only consider Silent Hill 1 through 4 as Silent Hill games, and I honestly just disregard anything after, since it's no longer Team Silence Works. There's so much to be said about the Silent Hill series. I could take up a whole video just talking about them. Silent Hill 2 is very special, as it really nails the psychological horror the series is known for, as well as the beautiful atmospheric music that lends to the creepiness. Here is Silent Hill 3, the third in the series, with its protagonist, Heather. I love Heather. She is probably my favorite of all the Silent Hill protagonists. I find that she is the most well-adjusted, if that makes sense, of all the protagonists, and she sort of maintains a strength throughout the story, no matter what tragedy she faces. And also I have a fondness for female leads in horror games. Everything you never wanted to see. What I found great about this game is the bonus items and costumes you can get after. There's a sort of Power Ranger magical girl outfit you can get for Heather, which I think is so cute. What's great here is we have the game disc. as well as an included Silent Hill 3 official soundtrack. Here we have Silent Hill, The Room, or Silent Hill 4, The Room, excuse me. So this may be an unpopular opinion, but Silent Hill 4 is my favorite Silent Hill game. It's the first one I played, and it has my favorite soundtrack of all of the 4 originals. I think the design is so interesting, having this hub world of Henry's apartment, but being able to venture out as well. And your hub world isn't safe as the game goes on. So there's a threat within this idea of a home, that your home isn't even safe, which I think is so clever. Silent Hill 4 wasn't necessarily meant to be a Silent Hill game at first, but ended up becoming one, which is often why it receives a lot of criticism, as it doesn't feel like it fits entirely with the originals or the predecessors. I still love it, and I think it does a great job of being a very interesting horror game. A room full of nightmares. Henry Townsend finds himself trapped in his apartment, and the only escape is through a mysterious portal that leads to a horrifying alternate reality. With gruesome sights around every corner, and his sanity being tested, he must find his way out of this nightmare. Enter The Room, the latest story in the most terrifying game series of all time. All new riveting Silent Hill adventure with shocking plot twists. Fend off new monsters, including ghosts that defy physical reality. Visual transitions between first and third person gameplay modes, a first in the series. Explore new environments, including an otherworldly forest and grisly prison. I did find the ghost enemies very interesting in Silent Hill 4. You can't permanently kill them, and they can wander around the areas and get to you. But there are a couple items that can subdue them, but there are less of these than there are of the ghosts. I also thought the game had many clever puzzles that I enjoyed as well. Silent Hill, or as a series rather, is known for having some interesting puzzles. So there are several PS2 horror games that I don't own, but I absolutely love. Haunting Grounds being one of them, but it is so expensive to try to buy used. Same with Rule of Rose. Even though Rule of Rose doesn't necessarily have good gameplay, I find the story to be well crafted. Siren. Now this is a very interesting horror game, and I struggle to call it my favorite, as the gameplay and structure can be absolutely infuriating, but also extremely creative. So this game takes place in a small Japanese village, and there are essentially zombies around, and there is a large cast of characters that you switch in between through different points of the story, which I find very interesting. And the main mechanic of the game is if you are near switch to their first-person perspective and see where they are looking. This game has a lot of stealth, and there is some combat, but you can get easily overwhelmed, and you pretty much die in 2 hits or so. So being able to puzzle out routes and paths around them, the enemies, is very important. It's extremely smart and very interesting, but there's some pretty clunky gameplay in terms of having to find secret hidden items in a level to unlock a level that's like 4 levels later. And you often don't know which level connects to which future level, so you can get quite frustrated trying to find what you need. Resist the call. Midnight, a siren calls, and a sea of red water mysteriously surrounds the mountain village Hanuda. Slowly, a terrible force transforms the inhabitants into shibito, undead husks of their old selves, fueled by evil and hate. Play as one of 10 characters caught in a living nightmare. You have 3 days to learn how their paths intersect as they try to stay alive. Survival depends on your ability to sight check, or the power to see through the eyes of friends and foes. There is no one hero. There is little hope. Will you resist the call of the siren? There is one level that's very interesting, as you start with a girl who is blind. So you can't really see through her, but you can see through others. And there's lots of other interesting ways the mechanic is used. But it just gets a little too frustrating in the non-linear structure of level unlocking. But if you're up for a challenge and enjoy clever game mechanics and amazing atmosphere, I highly recommend it. Here we have Samurai Warriors, the first in the Samurai Warriors series. These games I think are quite fun, hack and slash. I like that they're sort of a goofy fantasy version of history retellings. They're not too complex by any means, but they're very fun, and the combat's very fun. It's interesting seeing the character designs of characters who were based off of historical figures. Always on the battlefield, over 90 stages, new active mission system triggers, over 500 mission variations. Train aspiring warriors in new officer mode, co-op, versus in 6 new challenge modes. Randomly generated castle maps change each time you play. Look out for giant blades, flamethrowers, and deadly traps. Hack and slash Muso games are always a good bit of fun. Next we have Shadow of the Colossus, one of the most beautiful and standout games of the entire PlayStation 2 library, in my opinion. But I think many can agree. It is such a unique game, with the gameplay really standing out and being so different from a lot of the games of that period. atmosphere is beautiful, and while the story may be simple, it is full of mystery and interesting lore and a sense of magic and wonder. The art itself is so beautiful, with the world and all the colossi you fight. Some mountains are scaled, others are slain. Experience an unforgettable journey into a land forgotten by time. A seamless world filled with miles of majestic terrain. A story of companionship and undying love, and mythical giants to discover, unearth, and destroy. Here's the disc. Nothing too special, but the manual is quite beautiful. I've never seen a game manual go for a horizontal presentation rather than vertical. And I love the presentation of the graphics in these little circles. And lastly, we have Aiko, whose US cover is absolutely horrid. Maybe I'll put up the Japanese cover, but it is so much more beautiful and speaks to the game's gorgeous design and minimal artwork. Aiko is also by Ueda, who made Shadow of the Colossus, and this one was his first game, I believe, at least on the PS2. It was supposed to be on the PS1, but it ended up, I think, graphical limitations made them wait for the PS2, but I could be wrong. This game is very interesting, as it's a sort of 3D platforming game, and you're also sort of helping, or what's it called? Escort missioning through the whole game pretty much. You explore this castle with Aiko and the Princess Yorda as you try to escape. I think the story, even though there's minimal dialogue, is very special. The lighting in the game is so beautiful, and it certainly thematically fits with his other games, Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian. Within a world of enchantment and wonder, evil resides in an ancient castle. Aiko, a young boy born with horns, has been expelled from his village and left within this isolated fortress. Embarking on a perilous quest to save himself, as well as a beautiful princess. Aiko must find a way to escape. However, escaping will be no easy task. Every towering staircase and stone block is a piece of a puzzle. Every open window, dangling chain, and razor-thin escape illuminates another mystery. Solve the puzzles or join the tormented souls forever. The disc and the manual are nothing to write home about visually, but here they are. I hope you enjoyed this little peek into my game collection. I don't have that many PS2 games, but they're fun to share regardless, and a unique collection, if I say so myself. I look forward to sharing even more games with you. Some of them will most likely be two-parters, as I have a bajillion GameCube and DS games. What's your favorite PS2 game? Or which game of mine do you love the most? Well, thank you for spending time with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day or evening.